Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Gita Mary and I have made this series where I go to a normal conventional supermarket and I try to shop zero waste. And I've been somewhat successful, somewhat very bothered by the amount of packaging. So I thought for this video I wanted to show you how I do my regular grocery shopping. The places that I go to make sure things are with as little packaging as possible. And generally just what I do when I don't actively seek out challenges and ways to fuck it up. I have a grocery shopping kind of day, so I will be headed out to my local market now. My market where I get the majority of my vegetables is on Wednesdays and Saturdays from 8 to 2 in Aalborg. And I work specifically with one farm there that grows a lot of their own produce. They also sell imported produce, so it's sort of like a 50-50 situation, but I get a lot of the local seasonal produce from them. So we're going to head down there now. And then I need to get pasta, some dried goods, some spices, etc. I will show you guys how I get those things as well. Yeah, that is today, not a challenge, simply just how I do things. I've made several videos about how I shop zero waste, but it always changes. And because I recently moved, it also changed again. The farmer's market, not so much. Same farmer's market, it's just a lot more close by now, which is so perfect. Let's get started. Also, just a small disclaimer. This used to be a million times easier because a couple of months ago, there were bulk shops in Aalborg. We don't have a bulk shop in Aalborg. The closest bulk store is in Aarhus, which is over 100 kilometers away. So that's not happening. So we're gonna do the next best thing and I'll hit a couple of different grocery stores to find the things that I need. That's the plan. Okay, now let's really get going. These microgreens, I cannot carry them today, but other than that, I would have gotten them. Look at this. And the plastic container you can just bring back and they'll grow new things in them. When I can't get spices in bulk, I definitely do this. They only have this tiny bit of plastic. Otherwise, they're plastic free. They're not plastic inside the container, like in these ones. Plastic inside. You can also hear it. This is good. Definitely plastic in this one. And pick and mix with my own bag. So I came back from my grocery shopping trip. Full disclaimer, it's actually the next day. I ended up going to a few different places, and once I got back home, it was simply just too dark to do any real quality filming. If you call this quality filming, I don't know. Anyway, I ended up cooking a meal with some of the ingredients that I got yesterday, but the majority of the things I can show you. So I feel like the purpose of this video is still very much intact. Anyway, I started heading to my farmer's market, as I said, every Wednesday and Saturday, and I try to go at least once a week just to stock up on produce and package-free vegetables, seasonal, local produce. Also, the farmers that I talked to there, they are so nice and sweet. I even got flowers for free for my birthday. It was just, they're the best people. They are so nice. And we always end up talking about ways to use the different produce. They both have experiences and tips for me on how to use these vegetables, things that I couldn't come up with. And then I have something that I've read something or seen something that you can do or tried something that they haven't come up with. So we're sort of exchanging ideas. It's just a really amazing part of my week. So I started out by getting some produce. I got both vegetables, greens, I got a little bit of fruit, I got nuts, and I got herbs. So that's sort of where we are. Okay, so because it was yesterday, I've already prepped all my things. So I can also talk about sort of how I prep them, how I store them. First of all, my herbs I store in glass in water. I keep them in the fridge for the majority of the time, sometimes also just in direct sunlight. So these have just been standing in my windowsill. The mint is looking a little bit sad. Some of it, I feel like this part up here is a lot better than this, but I will be using it today. Oh, it smells so good. I will be using it today to make a mint syrup for a dessert that I'm making. But I simply just store them in water. I got my mint, no packaging, and I got locally grown parsley, no packaging. I also get nuts in bulk from the farmer's market. Obviously, these are not the most low impact product that you can get, but I use nuts in a variety of different ways. They're actually quite versatile in my kitchen. I use nuts to make plant-based milks and cheeses, and I use them in desserts, and I use them for so many different things. I use them to make creams. I use especially cashews in a lot of Indian dishes like shahi paneer, and it's just chef's kiss. And I bring my own little bag, and then I get them, then I transfer them to a big glass so I don't have to carry them around the jar, because that seems crazy. Anyway, getting nuts at the farmer's market is also a lot cheaper than getting them in the supermarket. Then I got the best pepper. I feel like I'm starting to, I don't know why I'm trying to be this much of a provocateur, but I got a green pepper because I love green peppers just as a snack, and I feel like the green pepper is the best one. I will not be elaborating further on that. Then I got some small peas. I love these in stir fries, in salads, etc. They haven't had them for a long time. I think this was the second time that I saw them there. So I just needed to pick some of these up because I'm so excited. Usually I don't get peas outside of the Danish season. These are different types of peas. I feel like they're probably okay. But Danish peas, like, they're so big. I love them. I have an excessive budget for both peas and strawberries during those seasons, which definitely overlap. In Denmark, they're so good. So once summer starts to roll in, I will be ready, eating all the peas in the world. They're just the best. Then I got some small tomatoes. I store tomatoes in a jar, not locked up, so there's air coming in. And I store them on the kitchen counter unless they get super ripe, on the verge to becoming overripe. Then I'll put them in the fridge. That way they have 1 or 2 more days in them before going bad. And then I'll use them in sauces. Every kind of pasta sauce, I can always just add more tomatoes into it. So that's okay, yeah, more. Then I have this little basket. I usually store this in one of my cupboards, so it's colder and darker, and that's better. On top I have some carrots. These are not usually there. I usually prep them, put them in my fridge in water, which is also great. But I'll use them today, so I just pop them on top. Other than that, I just have onions and garlic in this, and I can never have enough onion and garlic. I use it in basically every single dish that I make. Now we're moving away from the farmer's market because that's usually just where I get my produce. Sometimes there's a bakery like vendor at the farmer's market too, but I think that's usually during the summertime, and they have this amazing sourdough bread. I cannot wait for that baker to come back. If they do, I will be very excited. So if I don't bake the bread myself, I buy bread from either a baker or a bake-off section in a supermarket, where I just bring my own container and I just put them, not a container, but like a bag. But I hit up one of my favorite supermarkets to visit for plastic-free or like low plastic packaging, which is the Danish supermarket chain fruitex. They generally just have a lot of things. I also like some of the other ones, but I just moved into the center of the city where there is a really good fruitex. So I've been shopping there a whole lot. So this is what I got. First of all, I have my vegetable oil. This is from rapeseed. Yes. I don't think rapeseed oil has ever gotten a yas before. And they come in a glass bottle. It's also organic, and it's also locally produced in Denmark. Right, yes. One of the main reasons why I picked it, but saying it out loud, I started to wonder, so like, it was, right? It was like completely panicking. No, but it's fine. I would much rather buy this stuff. It's a little bit more expensive, but the packaging is better. It's not transported very far, so the transportation emissions are also really low. And generally, I like supporting a Danish product that's both organic and packaged really well. So I think I've showed you this before because I pick it up every single time I have the option to. And it is this pasta sauce specifically. It is an anti-food waste initiative where both excess tomatoes and apples and all kinds of vegetables are made into this sauce. And it is so flippin' delicious. It is so good. I buy it every single time I see it on the shelves, and it just makes it even better to me that it's actually made with leftover produce. I think it's so good. If you find this, buy it now. But generally, I like glass packaging. It does differ from place to place what kind of packaging actually is the most sustainable, because it all depends on how well functioning the recycling system of that material is. So glass in Denmark is pretty well recycled. It has a high recycling rate, and it's not only being sorted, but it's actually also being recycled, which sadly is two different things. Glass overall has a pretty high impact, both in terms of initial production. I have a whole impact video about glass, and in many cases actually glass has a higher impact than plastic, and glass can be a lot more polluting than plastic. So it's not all black and white, there are tons of nuances there. So there are also definitely some places where I wouldn't choose a glass product, but I would rather buy the conventional thing, simply because nothing is inherently always the best option. Not in terms of packaging and impact, like it's incredibly more complex, and that makes it a little bit annoying for consumers, because that means that we cannot just demonize one material forever and ever, but we really have to look at it from situation to situation. It's frustrating, I know, but nonetheless, that's sort of just how information works. Anyway, another type of material that I gravitate towards and I tend to choose over plastic is aluminium. Aluminium tins I use quite a lot. I have seen both studies say that Tetra Pak is more and less polluting than buying things in aluminium packaging. So often in Danish supermarkets you can both find the aluminium tin, but you can also find the same product in a Tetra Pak packaging. This is not the same product, but it's another thing that I bought. Just also goes to show, I'm not here to demonize Tetra Pak packaging. It's just that it's not a highly recyclable material. We are just getting it more rolled out, the recycling of Tetra Pak in Denmark. It's not a very effectively recycled material. I tend to go for the aluminium packaging instead, but this is also not a bad option if Tetra Pak is recyclable in your area. Both contains plastic, aluminium, and cardboard, which is incredibly difficult to pull apart to recycle again. So systems need to be in place in order for that to happen. And I'm very happy that that's the case here, which means I feel less bad about buying this. However, I use this for desserts. It is a vegan cream that you can whip into whipped cream. Not all vegan creams can be whipped into like this nice, stiff, fluffy consistency. This can, it's absolutely delicious and tasty, and I use it both on my hot cocoa. I use it to make cheesecakes, so many different things. It's really good. I use this a lot. So whenever I see it, I end up grabbing it because it's also kind of cheap. I think I gave 9 crowns for this. Whatever that is in euros. Anyway, black beans always. When I see black beans, I always go for them because I use them in chilies and tacos and burritos and all that kind of stuff. And I feel like that is the superior bean. Black beans are definitely my favorite. I would much rather choose them over kidney beans. Any day of the week, any day. Also, I would also choose them over chickpeas if they are used as a bean, so sort of used in salads, sort of like stir fries or, you know, like sauces and whatnot. Ragouts, black beans all the way, baby. Anyway, I also got some spices. Now, I would previously, a couple months ago, I would get spices in my local bulk store, but I cannot do that anymore because we don't have a bulk store in Denmark. So now what I do is that I choose the packaging with the least amount of plastic. And in this case now, it is these containers. They are quite good. They are loose. If I can get this open. Oh my god. Ah, the struggle. It's just loose inside. Some of these like fancy packagings, they're not loose inside. There's a plastic bag inside. But if you sort of shake the packaging, you can absolutely hear if there's a plastic bag inside or not. And this sounds loose. I also did the test at the supermarket so you can see. This is completely okay. There's a little plastic ring on top, but other than that, they're pretty good. And they're really, really great containers to use afterwards for storage. So I like those. Now, pasta. So pasta I would usually also get in a bulk store. I still do get pasta in bulk sometimes whenever I'm in Aarhus in Rå. But going over 100 kilometers to get pasta isn't really like an everyday kind of thing. So the next best thing is that I can get Barilla pasta in cardboard boxes. And I believe the only place you can get these in Aalborg is in fruitex. So this is plastic free. It also definitely passes the shake test. I got the fusilli and I got the penne. Some of the other options do come with a little plastic window, and I don't think that's the end of the world, obviously. But these are completely without plastic. That makes my absolute day. The other option is to do lasagna sheets, and you can obviously use them in lasagna. I think the sheets are actually called, like this shape of pasta is called lasagna, and then the dish is named after the piece of pasta. Let me know if that's true. I think that's And your girl is about 80% pasta, so girl gotta have her stash. Then I am basically in love with this vegan creamer. I use this often. This is one of the best options. It doesn't have like that weird aftertaste. Perfect. And again, Tetra Pak, not the best type of packaging, but luckily it is recyclable. I like to make my own plant milks, but it is a little bit more tricky, I think, to make a cream. It is possible, I've done a couple of times, but I also sometimes gravitate towards a pre-made option. Now I try to eat as many whole foods as possible, but I also definitely do get vegan substitutes. I don't think it's helpful to demonize substitutes or to say that if you eat these you're always unhealthy or eating these makes you a wrong kind of vegan. I think it's all super bullshit. And just, yeah, I love substitutes. I try to not have them every single day, obviously. A balanced diet is really what we're going for, but they're really good and some of them are amazing. This is one of my favorites. This is from Like Meat. It is a vegan schnitzel and I use this both to serve as a schnitzel. I also fry it up and use it as a patty in burgers. I do so many things with this. It's one of the best things. And the only place I've seen it in Aalborg is in Selling Super. The place I went to the last time I did the Zero Waste versus Supermarket. This is one of the only things they've got going for them, really, is that they have that thing. Anyway, that is everything that I bought, and this is of course not completely zero waste. Nothing can really be 100% perfectly zero waste. That's not also really the point. The point is trying to be conscious, trying to reduce your waste as much as possible in that situation, in that scenario you're in that day. And it looks different every single day, and it looks different depending on where you are and what your budget is and what your preferences are. There are a million variables that will make this situation look different. And I hope you know that that's okay. This is not the perfect zero waste grocery shopping haul. I don't think such a thing exists if it's honest. So yeah, this is how I would normally go about doing my grocery shopping. I just thought it would be helpful to not only show you like the challenges and when I'm trying my very best to be super perfect, and what it looks like when I actually do daily grocery shopping and things that I would normally just buy. And that's it for this video. I hope that you liked it. I hope that you found that zero waste shopping or zero waste shopping seems a little bit easier now, or seems like something that could be fun or motivational or just fun to do. Challenge yourself, try to do it. And I hope it seems a little bit more approachable now than it did before. If that was an issue, I think it often is. When I look online, I'm often incredibly intimidated by how well other people seem to be living this lifestyle. But then I remind myself that they might have other options than me. They might also be curating their feed in a way that makes them seem more successful. I know everybody do that. Everybody curate their feed, obviously. So this was my swing at trying to be just a little bit honest about how things look here. So if you have any tips or recommendations, let me know down below. Or if you have any questions, let me know. I would be happy to answer them. Thank you so much for watching. Have an amazing day and take really good care of yourselves. Until next time. Bye. Thank you so much for watching this video, and also a special thank you to my Patreon supporters. You guys help me create green zero waste content and I love you guys. You can find the links to my social media accounts down below and the link to my Patreon on this screen. Bye!